If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
Is a combination of technological breakthroughs which will completely change business models, society, economies. Fourth industrial revolution is coming with enormous speed and will change not only what we are doing, but who we are.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's nightmare, show. We all remember when Klaus Schwab, his famous saying, "You will own nothing and be happy." Well, you will also be microchipped and supposedly be happy. At least that's what their plan is. That's right. The implant obviously is something we all know about. We talk about transhumanism and the chip and altering DNA and these things that they openly discuss, but we're still called crazy conspiracy theorists. Elon Musk and the Neuralink. We know that Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum obviously have their hand in everything that's going on right now. All of these world leaders go to this specific place in Davos and they meet and they start planning on these things. Of course, they have these open dialogue discussions where they tell us what they're going to do to us, and yet nobody says anything about, hey, maybe we should get the military or the police involved here and shut this operation down because these people were never given any, this isn't globalism. Our elected, so-called elected leaders should be staying by themselves and working on our own country instead of all meeting together, conspiring for world dominance and enslavement of the people. But, nobody cares because they're too busy playing Sonic the Hedgehog or whatever they're doing, which is useless and pointless. So one of the things, in addition to what we're seeing right now and the Great Reset that I've been talking about, many people have talked about, we all are aware that they want to reset everything. We know that's why the outbreak occurred, so that they can reset everything. We know that's why the market is going to crash. The economies are being destroyed. Inflation is being pushed on purpose, whatever excuse they could use, whether it's the outbreak or whether it's pointing a finger at what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. That'll be destroyed. But one of the things that needs to be discussed is the implant, because one of the big things with this new revolution that they're bringing in, and they even talk about it openly, of course, at the Fourth Industrial Revolution on their website and at these meetings, which I'm going to show you in a second, is talking about human cyborgs and, transhumanism. And Schwab himself, he's speaking in French here. So if you're driving or you're somewhere and you can't read the screen, I highly recommend you go back and watch what he says here. I'm going to play the clip now. This is him talking about humanity and how we can first have it on our clothing, like I've discussed in the past, and then eventually, soon, now, have it inside our skin. This is from 2016. Listen to him.
Aujourd'hui, au bout de ça, on parle de puces qu'on pourra s'implanter. Ce sera quand, ça?
Certainement dans les 10 années à venir. Et d'abord, on va les implanter dans nos vêtements, c'est-à-dire wearables, comme on le dit. Et après, on pourrait s'imaginer qu'on les implante dans nos cerveaux ou dans notre peau. Et à la fin, peut-être il y a une communication directe entre notre cerveau et le monde digital. Ce que nous voyons, c'est une sorte de fusion du monde physique, digital et biologique.
On appelle quelqu'un, on n'a même plus le réflexe de devoir prendre un appareil, ça se fait naturellement. La technique continue le corps.
Oui, vous parlez et vous dites, je veux maintenant être connecté avec n'importe qui. Et d'abord, vous avez les robots personnalisés. Et j'ai vu que M. Zuckerberg a prédit qu'à la fin de l'année, il va avoir son robot, son butler personnalisé qui est à sa disposition.
Donc, comme dans Downton Abbey, on aura son butler personnel, son serviteur, son esclave.
Oui, mais il y a une différence. C'est un serviteur qui, avec l'intelligence artificielle, apprend et qui n'est pas seulement votre assistant pour des travaux manuels, qui peut vraiment être un partenaire intellectuel de vous.
Oh boy, nothing there that should catch anybody by surprise or alarm anyone. Talking about on the World Economic Forum's website how it's extremely necessary to do this to humanity because this is going to lead us into the fourth industrial revolution. So one of the articles they have is unequal opportunities, microchip implants, and other top stories. Then they have these workers have got a microchip implanted in their hand from their employer, which I've covered a million times over. But the reason I'm recovering it here is with Schwab and with the World Economic Forum endorsing this and endorsing human cyborgs. You say when we talk about a cashless society, we usually mean using contactless bank cards or smartphones to make everyday purchases. But what if you didn't need to carry a device at all? This is the tantalizing prospect leading some employees in Europe to be voluntarily chipped, right? And you heard one of the things that he talked about in that clip. He talks about butlers. I mean, these people are just out of their minds insane. Like humans need butler. Can you imagine the disciples if they heard this stuff? Like talking about it like it's normal. Oh, Mark Zuckerberg's got his own robot. I mean, I think they would take up swords at that point if they saw these things or heard this stuff because it's insanity. But just the notion that a human being needs, to be served upon, right? I mean, I almost feel awkward at restaurants. If you go out to a restaurant and someone serves you food, it feels weird and strange. To me, it does. And then they're talking about, well, having a human butler, but it'd be an artificial intelligence butler and a butler who already knows what you need before you even ask. I'm good. All right. I think I'll just get up on my own, go to the refrigerator and grab a cup of water or whatever I'm thinking about having. I'm okay. No, this is the mindset of our current society where they need to feel special. They need to feel propped up. And remember, another thing with the World Economic Forum that he's talked about is getting everyone on an equal playing field.
What does it mean, globalization 4.0? Definitively, it has to be more sustainable. We cannot continue to destroy our environment. It has to be more inclusive. Those people who have lost the hope for a better future, they have to be given a new vision. They don't want to wake up with nightmares. They want to wake up with dreams. We need a more multi-stakeholder globalization, which means a globalization not led just by governments, but where solutions are elaborated jointly by all stakeholders of society.
Now, why is it important to be on an equal playing field? Because they want people they want the poor, and the poor not so much defined as people who are broke, but poor people who, people who are middle class or not, they want people who don't realize that they actually have enough money and they're living a perfectly fine life to think that they're poor and to think that, hey, they can be on an equal playing field with these elites, even though these elites are going to give up nothing and still own and control everything. That's the scary part, that these people are so dumb that think that this is going to be equality. Equality already exists. It only doesn't exist with not rich, wealthy people. These people, these elites who own all the resources, who control the narrative, who control the media. That's where there's an unlevel playing field, because when people such as myself or others out there even speak against it, we get shut down for free speech. There's no equal playing field. We're not allowed to grow and be successful as an alternative form of media or anything else. There's certain things that you do if you hit a certain income threshold that these people put you on a list because they don't want you to make too much money because they're afraid that people might start a militia or some type of group against them. So anyway, the World Economic Forum has many things going on, right? So we need to keep an eye on all the agendas going forward, but none is more important than the other. But the implant is really high up there on being aware of it, because this is part of what they're pushing. So this digital technology age, which I've covered, where they're talking about 5G technology and smart cities and that stuff, they're talking about it with human beings. And Schwab has said it before about humans and technology, and he hasn't really gone into deep explanation yet, other than a few interviews. And the one I just showed you was one of them, where he talked about how, implants are going to be important and it's going to be part of the brain working and people connecting with each other this way, right? And that's the key term, connecting, right? We've heard that term with Facebook and other social media platforms, connect the world, connect. Well, they literally mean connect. They mean connect you to a Bluetooth. They mean connect you to the internet. And there might have been some experiment that happened sometime in the past, I can't remember how long ago, recently, where people were actually connecting to the Bluetooth. Go figure. And I believe that video, I do have a video on that on my backup channel. It's the last video I uploaded there, the yellow background channel, if you haven't seen it, because it only has like 15,000 views, which is still, of course, great. But I'm just saying, if you haven't seen it, you should check it out, about people who are hooking up, literally, to boot. And this isn't new. It's not some breaking story, but definitely check it out if you're unaware or you're new to this awakening process. So the World Economic Forum talking about how now Americans are getting in on the act of implanting microchips in humans. They talk about that company I covered in Wisconsin, which had a chip party. I don't know if you remember that, inviting its employees to voluntarily have their hands injected with RFID chips. I mean, it's insanity, right? And then they talk about the microchipped in humans, the passport for everything. And we're seeing that technology now in Canada. Canada is talking about actual implants, I believe, in New Brunswick and other territories up there, or provinces up there. They're talking about getting ready for an implant. Okay, it's more than just the ID passport that people are, everyone's thinking, oh, ID passport, it's going to tell everyone who has it, who doesn't, this and that. It's going to do more than that. It's going to be in you. It's not just going to be on your cell phone. You heard what it said in this article. It's going to be more than just your cell phone. Okay? It's going to be more than just your phone. Right? It's going to be implanted, self-control made easy. These are the types of things. When your mobile phone isn't enough mobile. These are headlines on their website. When your mobile phone isn't enough mobile. So speaking ahead of the company's party, they talk about that story. And then they go on to talk about eventually the technology becomes standard, allowing you to use this as your passport, public transit, and all purchasing opportunities, etc. So this obviously has to do with the mark. Now, a lot of people don't like when I say the mark because everyone has their own interpretation of what it might be. But I guarantee you this. Every Christian who has Christ in his heart and who is saved will know what the mark is. So right now, people think it's already here and that that it was something that just occurred. Maybe they're right, because the majority of us didn't get it anyway, so it's not a concern. But I don't want to get into debate about it. I hate getting into arguments with Christians about how they interpret something this way or that way, or people who interpret the rapture this way or that way. I feel like it's just wake up every day, do what you can to try to spread the word. If you're someone who just wakes up and you just want to be in the word, okay, whatever. But my point being is that there's so much, our enemies are everywhere. We don't need to make enemies of each other because we might interpret something differently. But as far as biblically with the mark, we know that you will not be able to buy or sell without it. That's a fact. Some people say it's Sunday law. I completely disagree, but they're more than entitled to believe that, and I have no problem being wrong with it as long as I ain't taking it, and I'm not. Okay? Some people don't believe that it's going to be an actual chip. They believe that it's actually going to be manipulated DNA, which I covered in that experiment they were doing with blockchain on mice that Stephen Colbert covered. If you didn't see that video, I definitely recommend you check it. Quickly, to summarize it, they were making fun of the fact that people were doing experiments to see if they could put blockchain inside of a mouse's DNA. And that's exactly what this is all going to lead towards with the digital currency. It's not just going to be PayPal. It's going to be literally in you. So this is Claus, Santa Claus. He sounds like the guy, I can't remember what song it is. I think it was Metallica, and the guy's like, I don't know what song it is, but that's what I hear in my head. I remember that song when I was younger, always hearing it on the radio or somebody playing it somewhere, a friend or something, or at school, I forget where. But nonetheless, it was some Metallica song. He sounds just like it. I mean, this guy is so wicked. And like I said in my previous video, he's connected to the Rothschilds, so nobody should be surprised that he is one and that he has this much power because of that, because they control the central banks. All of these leaders are going there because they bow down to him. They're not going there going, oh, I don't want to go to the World Economic. It's an honor for them to go. Biden's there. Putin's there. The Ukraine president's there. Chinese president's there. They're all going there. They're all together at these events. And it's not just there. It's Bilderberg. It's the G7. It's what used to be Bohemian Grove, which really is more perverse than actually accomplishing things. This is what's going on in the world. And this guy needs to be monitored because whatever this guy says is coming is clearly coming. It's clearly happening. We already saw it. The Great Reset. They've been talking about it before the outbreak. Then we conveniently get an outbreak. And then they conveniently go, well, this is why it's great for us because we've already had this prepared, so now we know what to do. It's never going back to normal. It's only going to go where we say it's going to go. And then talking about implanting humans with this. Coincidence? I think not. I want to remind everyone I have a video up now on my website about Zelensky and about exactly what's going to be going down here, in my opinion, of course. Always could be wrong about, but what I'm seeing, if you're interested in it, of course, they're making a martyr here. You know what this is setting up for. So I have that on the website. I have a bunch of new videos in the last couple of days, last week or so that I've put up over there. So I definitely recommend checking it out if you haven't, including stuff with Billy Boy and just a bunch of other stuff. A few videos I couldn't get uploaded over here. So definitely check it out if you can. It's $2.99 a month, but it's well worth it. And again, I say it sounds cliche, but the forum is worth it itself. So definitely check it out. And it's a website, again, for everyone, not a website to say, oh, go join it so you can hear me give you exclusive content. No, I put exclusive content up over there, but because I can't say it here and I want to say it. But the website is about everybody interacting with each other, sharing information, sharing stuff that they're hearing, talking about homesteading, talking about how to get equipped for when the grid goes down, all that type of stuff. How to get jobs that don't have mandates. So it's a great community. And you might say, well, why don't you do it on Reddit or somewhere? Well, why would I do it there where it can get fully trolled? Or why would I do it there where it can get censored? All right, it's not getting censored here. And it's, you don't have to worry about, trolling type of crap. You can focus on what's important, which is getting out the truth and sharing the truth, most importantly. So check it out. I want to thank everyone for being here. Appreciate your support. Hope you're doing well. God bless all of you and your families.